So there is some really exciting news, you guys, and honestly, it means more than you may think. Now, I want to talk just about the two biggest, most important takeaways from this, and I'll explain why as we go through the video. So stay with me as I break this down a little bit. By the way, if you are new to the channel and would like to help support the channel, consider subscribing, you guys. If you do like the video and found it helpful, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Now, some of you may know we recently just received the third quarterly update from CDPR's financial report. And in that report, Adam Kaczynski, president and joint CEO of CDPR, reported goals and developmental updates on their studios and their studios' projects at hand. After watching the live report, a few things stuck out to me, and a few things that I gathered. One in particular is obviously The Witcher Remake that will be worked on by an external studio called Fool's Theory, which many of us know already, but CDPR will of course still have a hand in its development. How much? Well, that's hard to say, but the major thing I took away from this was the fact that in one of the still images for The Witcher Remake, in one of their PowerPoint slides that was used to talk about The Witcher Remake, showed a yellow boxed-in description saying, story-driven single-player open-world RPG, a modern reimagining of 2007's The Witcher. Now, CD Projekt Red has confirmed that it is using the Unreal Engine 5 to remake the original 2007 The Witcher, and now they will be able to make a modern, reimagined, fully open world game. Now, the original was not an open world game, but more of broken up small open size areas. Now, some will even argue that The Witcher 3 is actually not a truly fully open world RPG because there are cutscenes between different open world hubs like White Orchard to Velen, and then to the Skellige Isles, as compared to, say, Skyrim, which is seamlessly open world, right? You have different biomes in Skyrim where you can walk from a fall time setting, and as you make your way up to, say, the mountaintops, it turns into more winter or cold setting, and it just seamlessly works, right? It just works. Now, The Witcher 3 reminds me more of something like Dragon Age's Inquisition, with their different huge open world areas that were connected via loading screen. But The Witcher 1 does not mean that the game is by any means linear. It actually has multiple different outcomes and endings. Now, I believe this to be a great thing because in The Witcher 1, once you leave an act, that is it. You cannot go back unless you reload an old save. So you have to make sure that you complete or do everything you wanted to do in that area before progressing. It'll be nice to see all of these areas connected seamlessly, giving us freedom to return to previous areas. Now, CDPR has said it's still a long way before we can see anything on The Witcher Remake, as it's being fully remade in a new engine. And now seeing how it will host an open world, who knows what else we can get without ruining, or I should say overshadowing, what made The Witcher 1 a great game. Now, I won't say it's because of its combat by any means, but The Witcher 1 really is a great story, and I do like its dark setting to it. Maybe it's because of its graphical setting, and it was kind of more like that old school eerie feel. The Witcher 3 definitely has those moments, don't get me wrong, and I think The Witcher 3 is hands down beautiful, but something about The Witcher 1 just seemed a lot more dark and kind of eerie when you went through certain biomes like the swamp forest and everything. It just felt like anything could pop out at any moment. Now, why is this honestly important? Well, because it tells us a few things. It gives CDPR a chance to actually work with the Unreal Engine 5, even though it's a third-party studio, but they get to work hand in hand with them. They get to experiment, and they're fully remaking this game. It's not just upping the graphics. It's not like The Witcher 3 next gen, right? They're not just adding a few things and putting a shade of lipstick on it, so to speak. This is really fully imagined. They're bringing a modern twist on The Witcher Enhanced Edition, making it a brand new experience for everyone, which is amazing because it's not even going to be anything recognizable. When you play the game, you're not even going to even know that it was like The Witcher 1 Enhanced Edition from back in the day, because it's going to be using the Unreal Engine 5. I mean, we've all seen its graphical capabilities. It looks amazing. So this is what really has me excited, because it gives CDPR and third-party studios a chance to work with this engine, so that way they can, get prepped for the next Witcher game or that new multiplayer game, whatever Witcher multiplayer game, either that being like a MMO style open world game like The Witcher 3, but you just have other Witchers that join in. I have absolutely no clue what they're planning on with that, but this really gives us a good look at where they want to take the game, and it gives them some experimental features to work with in the meantime. And I do hope that this made you as excited as I am for The Witcher Remake, because it really looks like an ambitious project. So another big thing that was talked about in the show during CDPR's call with Adam Kaczynski, he went on to show us a graph, right? And it was detailing what state of developmental progress each of CDPR studios and their third-party studios were at the time as of today. This, I feel, is really important because it gives us a good idea, you guys, of where their developmental focus is pointed at, meaning the next Witcher game. And if we actually take a look at the graph here, we can honestly see back on the 31st of December of 2021, we can see where most of their focus was aimed at Cyberpunk 2077 because it was just released a year beforehand, right? So there was a lot of, they did not release the game in a very good state. There's a lot of patch notes, there's a lot of different bug fixes, updates. So they were really sinking a lot of their resources and efforts to get Cyberpunk 2077 in the shape that it's in today, which still, in my opinion, needs a lot of work. But a lot of people are excited for the expansion of Cyberpunk 2077. And as we can see here on this bar graph, that has not changed at all. The only thing that's changed is it's moved further down the bar graph, showing that it's coming up to its release. And that once that does release, I'm surmising that everyone working on Cyberpunk 2077's expansion, Phantom Liberty, will probably move over into the new Witcher game, because as this bar graph moves down, right, as they stop supporting Cyberpunk 2077 as much, and you can see the yellow bar graph getting smaller, we can also see Gwent smaller. Now, like I said, the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion remains the same size, but other projects, that big blue graph, that big blue bar up there, whatever that was at the time, it was pretty big, and now it's almost non-existent. Now, as we move down, we can also see the new Witcher game, codenamed Polaris, how much bigger that's gotten. And that's literally increased quite a bit in size. And even now, on October 31st of this year, we can see it's even grown even bigger. So more of their focus and resources are pulling in towards the new Witcher game. Now, what I think is about to happen is as soon as CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty expansion releases, all of those people are going to jump on to the new Witcher game ship, and they're going to start working on that and pulling all their resources into that game, because that is something a lot of people are looking forward to, and it's their other big AAA franchise in their studio, right? It's Cyberpunk and it's The Witcher. Those are their two main things. So as soon as that expansion goes out, they'll probably have a small team of people that stay dedicated to Cyberpunk, but that is the only expansion they're getting, so everyone will move to the new Witcher game, which is big because Adam Kaczynski also on this call, which was on a phone, right? So everything was kind of like distorted. It was hard hearing a little bit, but he mentioned a time frame, not a time frame or a release date for the new Witcher game, but he gave a time frame from a 2025 to a 2027 window, which if you went all the way from now to 2027, you're talking about 5 to almost 6 years from now. So that's a pretty good window of a release date for, let's say, a new Witcher game, or possibly the new multiplayer Witcher game from Molasses Flood Project Sirius, right? The codename Sirius. Now, if we actually look at the bar graph for them as well, we could see how much they have ramped up on that project and put more effort into it as we look at that red bar right there, how that's grown. If we look at this bar graph in general, start from the top and work your way down, you can see how it slides to the left. So everything is moving to the left. And as we see here, it's all Witcher on the end. And that's almost going to hit half of that bar graph. And that's just as of October 31st. Now, they also had in the live report, obviously, what they were doing financially. It was a financial report. So in that, they're doing extremely well, that it seems. They're up like 40%. Cyberpunk 2077 is doing actually pretty great. The Witcher always does great. I mean, they've never really had an issue in that category. So when they have the funding and they have the studios and they have everyone and the resources to work on the new Witcher games and help support DLC and expansions, especially with the next gen update that they're literally giving everyone for free, and you know, they're retweaking the whole game to make it graphically enhanced. They're adding free content, DLC, and quest lines, all that type of stuff. So it's going to be really interesting, and there's a lot of hidden things that are going to be in there, surprises for us more, and I'm just waiting for another red stream for them to give us a little bit more insight of what we could still expect. I know everyone's still waiting for Geralt's cloak, and I definitely have a feeling that is coming. But these were the two biggest takeaways from the live report. That's why I wanted to share this with you guys on their financial report, because A, we're getting the Witcher remake that is being made with the Unreal Engine 5. It gives them a good idea of how to work with that engine, especially if it's being made with a third-party studio. But CDPR gets to see from the sidelines, or have a little bit of a hand in it, to help see how they're going to fully remake this game, and we get to experience it for like almost like a first time, because it's going to be open world. You're taking something that wasn't an open world and reimagining it into what we would consider a modern day RPG. Then we get to see how much work and progress has been done on Phantom Liberty, and how that's almost out the door, and where everyone stands on the next gen, or I should say the new Witcher game that's coming out. So whether that be called Witcher 4 or whatever it is, it's going to be that whole new trilogy. So this is something that's actually really exciting, because we can see that all of their resources and efforts are pulled in for a brand new Witcher game. So I wanted to share this with you guys, because I know it's something we've all been waiting. What can we expect for release dates? And like I said, when Adam Kaczynski literally said a window time frame of 2025 to 2027, it makes me honestly think it's a possibility that we could see some type of release date around that time. So other than that, you guys, that's really all I have for you in this video. I wanted to get it out there. I think it's some pretty big news, and I am really excited about it. And now it's just pretty much the waiting game and being patient as they release tidbits to us over the next couple years, so to speak, right? So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you are new to the channel, like I said earlier, and would like to help support the channel, consider subscribing, you guys. If you do like the video, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Remember, you can always follow me on Twitter at HamboneGaming. So that's all I have for you guys in this one, and I will catch you all in the next one. Later.